Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric and Barry from Moss Pawn and Gun, and today we have another gun gripe for you. We appreciate y'all's support, and we've worked really hard to deliver these videos to you on a consistent basis, and we're glad you like them. Feel free to leave your comments, subscribe, check us out, PM us, call us, what have you. And we have gotten a lot of gun gripes suggestions from people. And today we actually do have a suggestion that was submitted by a YouTube user, and that's the one we're going to discuss today. In today's gun gripe, we're going to talk about Hollywood hypocrites.
Hollywood hypocrites.
And not only Hollywood hypocrites, but we're also going to expand a little bit on the Hollywood agenda related to guns and how it is kind of stacked against gun owners. Not really so much gun owners, but just guns in general. I think that in a lot of Hollywood movies, they tend to want to demonize guns. And whether it's a part of some agenda or a part of some plan, it can probably not be determined readily, but it does lead you to believe that. Barry, what do you think about actors in Hollywood?
Well, you take Michael Douglas, for instance. He was in the movie Falling Down, which happens to be one of my favorite movies. It's ridiculous, but it's entertaining. And Eric and I were discussing a while ago, he's anti-gun, but yet he used guns in the movie. But then if you look at it from his point of view, it is an anti-gun movie. All these innocent people get mowed down by these hoodlums with guns, and then he shoots a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And at the end, he gets killed with a gun.
Right. So in the end, he has the exact opposite of what he's looking to do.
But what Eric was saying, I was thinking about that a minute ago, that is an anti-gun movie. When you would think it would be a pro-gun movie, but it's anti-gun. He's using a bunch of gang weapons that he took off gang members. They're illegal weapons, fully automatic Tech-9, sawed-off shotguns, and all this kind of stuff. But the movie also shows there's no way to keep that kind of gun out of the hands of hoodlums.
That's right.
Yeah.
Another good example is in the movie Predator. When they first, get on the island and they know that things are going on. And, of course, there's a real popular scene in Predator where they're all shooting into the jungle with miniguns and M16s and grenade launchers and all this badass weaponry. And, of course, they don't hit anything.
Right.
All right. And later on in the director's cut, the director of Predator actually says that that was an anti-gun statement. It was purposely set up that way to show how worthless guns are. And that was his agenda. It was a hidden agenda in that scene to show that in his mind he wanted to show how useless guns were.
Right.
So it's a cool scene. I mean, they cut down trees and it's all neat and everything like that. Jesse Ventura, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Who was that other fella? There was another guy that went on to get kind of popular. That movie in general is kind of neat because you got
Carl Weathers is a very popular actor. He's been in a lot of
right,
movies.
but Jesse Ventura and Arnold both went on to become governors.
Right.
So
sure
there's two governors in that movie.
But Jesse Ventura, unlike Arnold Schwarzenegger, is pro-gun.
Yes, Jesse Ventura is a very pro-gun actor.
Yes,
and politician now. He is a politician. And of course you see, and that brings us on to another Hollywood-related item. You get Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is the governor of arguably the most anti-gun and anti-American state in the Union. You look at California, and of course they have very strict gun laws. And again, I look at it like a conflict of interest, because here you have Arnold Schwarzenegger who, when you're growing up, at least in my generation, growing up, you look at Arnold and you think, wow, he's a badass, and he's carrying around whole logs and rescuing little girls and shooting everybody up and, killing people and all this random stuff. And when you're a kid, you're like, wow, that's awesome. But then you grow up and you realize that he's an anti-gun person. It kind of makes all of those things unrealistic and unheroic. I mean, how can you use guns in a movie like that? How can you mow people down with machine guns and pistols and all this stuff and not be pro-gun?
Right.
And that's my biggest problem with a lot of Hollywood actors is, they always want to go on film and talk about how, oh, well, like that Demand a Plan video that was spreading around, how all these Hollywood actors got together and thought they were going to make some kind of anti-gun video. Yeah, that backfired. All of those actors, Jamie Foxx, Angelina Jolie, Colin Farrell, there were several others. But all of those people use guns in movies, and they use them in acts of violence in movies. So to me, that's completely hypocritical to say that you're against guns, you're against gun violence, but yet you make your bread and butter and your money shooting people up on the big screen.
You're willing to be a gun whore for money.
Yeah.
You're doing what they tell you to do and doing what they tell you to say for money. Now you take Steven Seagal, for instance. Now, Steven Seagal he's as realistic as John Wayne was. People who have known Steven Seagal said he's exactly that way in real life.
Yep.
He is not acting. And I've known several people who were high up, executives. They said if I ever had a bodyguard, I'd want him for my bodyguard.
We know, and Steven Seagal's in law enforcement now.
Yes, he is.
He is in law enforcement.
Yes, he is. So
there's a lot of Hollywood people that don't carry the anti-gun stigma. I mean, and
Right.
traditionally across the board, at least from my experience, we've seen that most Hollywood actors, a good many of them, are anti-gun. There are several pro-gun Hollywood actors.
Right.
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck, Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott is a pro-gun actor. You have, what's his face from Men in Black? Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
He is a pro-gun actor.
Oh, yeah.
There's several of them out there. Trying to think, there's a few others that are, known for being pro-gun actors in Hollywood.
Right. Well, a lot of them are no longer with us, like John Wayne.
Of course, John Wayne was pro-gun, of course.
But Jimmy Stewart, a lot of the old time actors. Jimmy Cagney was a pro-gunner. But if you look on the internet, look these people up. Like I always admired Lee Marvin. He was in the Big Red One. He was in the Dirty Dozen, all this kind of movies. He was a staunch Democrat, and when I found that out, it killed my.
It ruined it. It ruined your perception of that actor. Right. I know, and I'm the same way.
Charles Bronson, excellent actor, excellent. He's pro-gunner all the way. He really believes it, and I think the Vigilante series, the Death Wish series, I think that was his own personality that he was putting on the screen.
Of course, yeah, of course.
He actually, I mean. He was putting out there what he believed.
You can't teach Charles Bronson to be Charles Bronson. He's right. Charles Bronson, just like John Wayne is John Wayne.
Right.
When John Wayne acts, he's not being somebody. He's being John Wayne.
He's being himself. It doesn't matter if he plays a detective,
right.
a cowboy, or what.
That's right. And a good actor just has to act like themselves. Now, those are a few pro-gun actors. Now, when you talk about anti-gun actors, unfortunately in this society there are a lot of anti-gun actors. One person that comes to mind that is guilty of it's Jane Fonda.
Oh yeah.
Of course, she's been known of to shoot her mouth off against pro-gun people, and of course, in some of her older westerns, of course she uses guns.
Cat Ballou is one of them.
Yeah, Cat Ballou.
Back during the Vietnam War, they coined a term for a dud round. They called it a Jane Fonda, and she's a complete dud when it comes to anything other than. Her exercise videos. I've watched several movies with Jane Fonda in them, and I have nothing against the woman personally, but she is an anti-gunner, rabid.
As an actor, I mean, she's a great actor.
She's a rabid.
She is a good actor, but on the issue of guns, now, it would be a very un-American thing to say, all right, well, this person's anti-gun, so I hate all their movies. Right. That's not the case. There are people that are anti-gun that I love their movies.
They're good actors.
They're good actors, and that's their bread and butter. That's what they do. So, I'm not going to cast the first stone against someone just because they're anti-gun, but I also think that someone's policy should be consistent with what they do in their everyday life. If I make my living being a stunt driver, all right, and I walk around on fire and run out of cars and roll around and shoot guns, then it wouldn't really be very fair for me to go, oh, well, I don't think people should have dangerous cars, and I don't think people should drive fast, and I don't think people should, shoot guns. I mean, isn't that kind of like going against what you're about, if that's what you do for a living? I mean, I guess that's our whole point of this gripe.
But real actors and pro-gun actors especially, they have their inner core. That is what they believe it. Tom Selleck believes to his last drop of blood in his body, and he will defend your right to own a gun. Charlton Heston, bless his heart, he's gone, but he was as patriot of a man as you'll ever want to meet.
Oh yeah, and I know a lot of the media jumps all over people like Ted Nugent, but I'll tell you right now, I've met Ted Nugent in person, I've dealt with him, I've worked with him in person. He is a Class A, #1 stand-up American. He is a wonderful American. He cares deeply about our republic. And I mean, yes, sometimes Ted can be a little mouthy, but he's very passionate. He cares about his country. He loves his country. He loves his countrymen. And he's just one of those kind of guys that he's just a classic, model American. A meat-eating, gun-toting, American. And that's what we're about. That's what we do. And, people like Ronnie Barrett. Again, I look at Ronnie Barrett, even though he's not Hollywood related, someone like Ronnie Barrett to me is just a model American.
He's a model American, and he stands up He says what he means and means what he says.
That's right. That's right.
He doesn't talk out of two sides of his face.
So there are a lot of like little hidden agendas that kind of get thrown out there in the Hollywood world. If you have examples of your own that we didn't cover, I'm sure there's a ton of them out there that are, that are there. Hollywood agendas and Hollywood hypocrites and things like that. If you have your own examples, leave them below. We'll read them. Maybe in a future gun gripe, we'll visit those concepts. But we thought this would be a really good video, because there is a lot of that out there, and it's scary just to think about. But
the Hollywood, as far as firearms goes, is almost like the media. 80% of what you see is bullshit.
Right.
There's stuff that is impossible. It's stuff that just doesn't happen. Dirty Harry, I was watching that movie the other night. There are so many gun mistakes in that movie. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. But anyway, we'll get into that one time. We'll do Hollywood mistakes and so on and so forth.
Yeah, we have a few other gun gripes that we did where we talked about, Hollywood poses and Hollywood mistakes and things like that. So we do have a few other gun gripes kind of interlaced into this subject. We hope you like the video. Again, feel free to call us if you'd like, or send us a line, drop us a line, and we'll respond as best we can. And thanks for watching.
Y'all have a good evening now.
And more importantly, thanks for your business. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
All right.